The observation deck hummed with nervous energy as Commander Vrell pressed her 6 fingers against the viewport, staring at the blue and green marble spinning below. Beautiful, sure. Terrifying? Absolutely. So let me get this straight, she said, turning to face her science officer, a lanky creature named Ports who had the unfortunate habit of sweating purple when stressed. Right now, he looked like a leaking grape. This planet down there has wiped out almost all of its own life. Not once, not twice, but 5 separate times. 5 major extinction events. Yes, Commander. Ports replied, tapping frantically at his datapad. His 3 eyes blinked in sequence, left to right, like a wave of disbelief. Volcanic eruptions that lasted for millennia, asteroids the size of small moons, ice ages that froze the ocean solid, and, oh, this is my favorite, the planet literally poisoned itself with oxygen. Vrell laughed, a sharp bark that echoed off the metal walls. Oxygen. The stuff we breathe? That oxygen. The very same. The early microbes produced so much of it that they murdered nearly everything alive at the time. Talk about an own goal. The 3rd member of their survey team, a crystalline, wait, no, a silicon-based life form named Kresh, clicked his mineral fingers together in what passed for amusement among his kind. And yet, life keeps coming back. Stronger, weirder, more determined to survive in the most ridiculous ways possible. Vrell moved away from the viewport, her tail swishing with agitation. The mission briefing had mentioned Earth was, quote, an interesting case study in planetary resilience, but nobody had prepared her for this level of cosmic masochism. She had led 43 survey missions across the Galactic Federation's territory, cataloging everything from peaceful garden worlds to radioactive hellscapes. But this was something else entirely. Show me the current dominant species, she ordered. Ports hesitated. His purple sweating intensified. Commander, perhaps we should review the geological data first, or the atmospheric composition reports, or maybe, I don't know, literally anything else. Show me the dominant species. The holographic display flickered to life in the center of the observation deck. A bipedal creature appeared, standing roughly 2 meters tall, with bilateral symmetry, forward-facing eyes, and an alarming lack of natural defenses. No claws, no venomous fangs, no armored hide, not even decent fur coverage. Just soft, pink skin that looked like it would tear if you sneezed near it. This is a human, Ports announced with all the enthusiasm of someone describing a funeral. They are mammals, warm-blooded, and they currently control the entire planet. Kresh leaned forward, his crystalline form refracting the hologram into a rainbow of confused light. Those things, those soft, squishy things conquered a planet that routinely commits genocide against its own biosphere. It gets worse, Ports continued, scrolling through data screens with increasing speed. They evolved in Africa, a continent with predators specifically designed to eat primates. Lions, leopards, hyenas, crocodiles, everything with teeth wanted them dead. And they survived by, wait for it, being persistently annoying. Vrell felt a headache forming behind her primary eyes. Explain. Persistence hunting. They would chase prey for hours, sometimes days, until the animal literally died of exhaustion. They cannot outrun a deer, cannot outclimb a monkey, cannot outswim a fish. But they can outstubborn absolutely anything on the planet. They just keep going, and going, and going. The hologram shifted, showing humans in various environments. Desert, Arctic, jungle, mountains, ocean shores. They were everywhere, thriving in conditions that should have killed them 1,000 times over. They also, Ports added, his voice dropping to a whisper like he was sharing a ghost story, throw things with terrifying accuracy. No other animal on Earth can do this. They can hit targets while running, calculate trajectory instinctively, and they taught themselves to do this before they even invented agriculture. They were apex predators armed with pointed sticks and bad attitudes. Vrell sat down heavily in her command chair. The padding wheezed under her weight. So Earth keeps trying to kill everything, and the humans responded by becoming unkillable through sheer spite. Essentially, yes. And they are the ones who sent the initial contact signal that brought us here. Correct. They have achieved spaceflight, nuclear technology, global communication networks, and somehow, despite having wars constantly throughout their recorded history, They have not yet rendered themselves extinct. Kresh made a grinding sound that might have been laughter. I like them already. They sound absolutely insane. That is one word for it, Ports muttered. Vrell stood up, squaring her shoulders with the kind of determination that had earned her command rank despite being half the size of most Federation officers. All right, prepare first contact protocols. If we are going to meet the species that survived 5 apocalypses by being too stubborn to die, I want every safety measure active, every scanner running, and someone please explain to me why my hands are shaking. Because, Ports said quietly, we are about to meet beings who looked at a planet trying to murder them and said, not today, and they meant it. The landing craft descended through Earth's atmosphere like a meteor with performance anxiety, rattling and shaking despite being designed to withstand the heat of a dying star. Vrell gripped her harness so tightly her knuckles turned from green to white. This is normal, right? She shouted over the roar of reentry. This violent shaking is completely normal? Ports checked his instruments, his 3 eyes darting between screens faster than a caffeinated hummingbird. Define normal. Are we dying? Probably not. Does it feel like we are dying? Absolutely. Kresh, strapped into a reinforced seat designed for his silicon-based density, seemed utterly calm. I have reviewed the briefing materials 17 times. Did you know humans invented something called extreme sports? They literally throw themselves off cliffs for entertainment. What? Vrell demanded. Because, and I quote from their data files, it is fun. The landing craft punched through the cloud layer, and suddenly the shaking stopped. Below them stretched a landscape of impossible greens and blues, with geometric patterns that indicated agriculture, roads, cities. The humans had carved their civilization into the planet's surface like sculptors working with continental-sized clay. Landing coordinates locked, announced the ship's computer in a voice far too cheerful for Vrell's current stress level. Touchdown in 90 seconds. The welcoming committee is waiting. Try not to vomit on the diplomatic delegation. I hate this ship's programmer, Vrell muttered. The craft settled onto the landing pad with a gentle thump that seemed almost anticlimactic after the violent entry. Vrell unbuckled her harness with trembling fingers and stood, smoothing down her ceremonial uniform. First contact. She had done this dozens of times, but her stomach still felt like it was trying to escape through her throat. Remember the protocol, she said, more to herself than her crew. We approach with open palms. We speak slowly and clearly. We do not make sudden movements, and we absolutely do not comment on their lack of natural defenses or their species' alarming mortality rate. Got it, Ports replied. No mentioning that they die if they go 3 days without water or that their planet has supervolcanoes capable of ending civilization at any moment. Ports, sorry, Commander. The exit ramp lowered with a hydraulic hiss, and sunlight flooded the interior. Earth's sunlight, Vrell noted, was warmer than she expected, carrying strange scents. Growing things. Water. Something cooking that made her stomach growl despite her nerves. The air tasted different too, rich with nitrogen and that infamous oxygen that had once killed nearly everything. At the bottom of the ramp stood 3 humans. The first was tall, with dark skin and short black hair going gray at the temples. She wore a formal suit in navy blue and held a tablet device in one hand. Her smile seemed genuine, reaching her eyes, which was a good sign according to the cultural briefing materials. The second human was shorter, stockier, with pale skin covered in freckles and bright red hair pulled back in a practical bun. She wore what appeared to be a military uniform, standing at attention with the kind of posture that suggested she could probably kill you 17 different ways with a spoon. The third was younger, maybe, it was hard to tell with humans. Medium height, brown skin, wearing casual clothes and holding a camera. Their expression radiated pure excitement, the kind of joy that transcended species barriers. Vrell descended the ramp, her crew flanking her. She raised both hands, palms forward, in the universal gesture of peace that apparently worked on this planet too. Greetings, she said in carefully practiced English, a language that seemed designed to confuse translators with its inconsistent pronunciation rules. I am Commander Vrell of the Galactic Federation Survey Corps. We come in peace and friendship. The tall human stepped forward, her smile widening. Welcome to Earth, Commander. I am Secretary General Martinez of the United Nations. This is General O'Brien of our Planetary Defense Forces, And this is Dr. Tamal, our lead xenobiologist. We have been waiting a long time for this moment. Her English sounded nothing like the training recordings. It had melody, rhythm, emotion packed into every syllable. Vrell's translator struggled to keep up. Your planet, Vrell began, then paused, searching for diplomatic phrasing. Your planet has a remarkable history of resilience. Martinez laughed, a warm sound that seemed to put everyone at ease. That is a very polite way of saying our planet keeps trying to kill us, Commander. Yes, we noticed that too. Please, come inside. We have prepared a reception, and I think you will find our refreshments more pleasant than our atmospheric entry. General O'Brien smirked. Did the landing rattle you? Sorry about that. Our atmosphere is thicker than most. Oxygen-rich. Great for supporting complex life, terrible for smooth descents. The oxygen that once poisoned your ancestors. Ports blurted out, then immediately looked like he wanted to crawl into his own data pad and die. But Martinez just laughed again. Exactly that oxygen. Funny how the thing that nearly killed everything became the thing we cannot live without. We humans love a good redemption arc. They walked toward a massive building made of glass and steel. Human security personnel standing at intervals with weapons that looked primitive, but were probably devastatingly effective. Vrell noticed cameras everywhere, recording every moment. The entire planet was probably watching this encounter. So, Dr. Tamal said, falling into step beside Kresh and staring at his silicon-based structure with undisguised fascination. What do you want to know about us? Kresh's mineral fingers clicked thoughtfully. Everything. But mostly, why do you throw yourselves off cliffs for fun? Tamal grinned. Because the fear reminds us we are alive. Because conquering that fear makes us stronger. Because if Earth spent millions of years trying to kill us, we figured we might as well return the favor by cheating death as a hobby. Vrell felt her headache returning with reinforcements. The conference room was, in Vrell's professional opinion, aggressively human. The walls displayed rotating images of Earth's landscapes. Mountains that looked like they were scraping the sky, oceans deep enough to swallow her entire homeworld's surface fleet, forests so dense you could lose a civilization in them. And in every image, humans, doing something that should probably have killed them, climbing those mountains, diving in those oceans, swinging through those forests. Secretary General Martinez gestured to seats arranged around a circular table. Please sit. Can we offer you refreshments? We prepared several options based on your biological requirements submitted in your first contact package. Ports practically collapsed into a chair, his purple stress sweat finally beginning to fade. You actually read the requirements? Most species just offer us whatever they drink and seem offended when we politely decline. We read everything, Dr. Tamal said, setting down a tray with various containers. 3 times. Then we had 12 different scientific committees argue about it for 6 months. We take first contact very seriously, especially since, you know, we are the new kids in the galactic neighborhood. Vrell accepted a container filled with a blue liquid that matched her species' nutritional needs perfectly. She took a cautious sip. It tasted like synthetic berries with a hint of minerals. Not bad, actually. You seem remarkably calm about all this. Many species experience significant cultural disruption when they learn they are not alone in the universe. Martinez exchanged glances with General O'Brien, who shrugged with one shoulder while keeping the other perfectly still, a gesture Vrell's translator flagged as military discipline. Commander, Martinez said slowly, we have been listening to space for over a century, searching for signals, building telescopes that could see the birth of galaxies. We knew, statistically speaking, that we could not be alone. The math did not allow for it. Plus, O'Brien added with a sharp grin, any species that survived 5 mass extinctions, ice ages, supervolcanoes, and that one time we almost nuked ourselves into oblivion learns to roll with the punches pretty quickly. Kresh leaned forward, his crystalline body refracting the room's light into dancing patterns on the ceiling. You almost destroyed yourselves with nuclear weapons? That was not in the briefing materials. We kept that part quiet during the initial contact package, Tamal admitted, looking slightly embarrassed. Seemed like bad form to lead with hello. We nearly committed species-wide suicide during the Cold War, but decided not to at the last minute. Not exactly a strong opening pitch for joining an interstellar community. Vrell set down her drink carefully. Let me understand this correctly. You developed the technology to split atoms, immediately weaponized it, built enough weapons to destroy your entire planet several times over, pointed them at each other for decades, and then just decided not to use them. When you put it like that, it sounds insane, Martinez said. It was insane, O'Brien corrected. But we got better. Mostly. We still have the weapons, but we also have treaties, safeguards, and a general agreement that planetary extinction is bad for everyone's property values. Ports made a choking sound that might have been laughter or horror. How are you people still alive? Spite, Tamal said cheerfully. Also adaptability, tool use, social cooperation, abstract thinking, and an absolutely terrifying ability to hold grudges across generations while simultaneously forgiving enemies when it becomes strategically advantageous. Vrell felt like she was trying to drink from a fire hose of information. Your species makes no sense. Your planet tries to kill you constantly. You almost killed yourselves. You engage in dangerous activities for entertainment, and yet you have achieved spaceflight, developed complex global cooperation systems, and are sitting here calmly discussing extinction events like someone talking about bad weather. Martinez smiled, but there was something ancient in her eyes, something that spoke of a species that had clawed its way up from the mud and refused to go back down. Commander, let me tell you a story. About 74,000 years ago, a supervolcano called Toba erupted in what is now Indonesia. The eruption was so massive it triggered a volcanic winter that lasted years. Global temperatures dropped. Food chains collapsed. Our species, already small in number, was reduced to perhaps a few thousand individuals. She paused, letting that sink in. We should have gone extinct. Any rational analysis says we should have died out completely. But we did not. We survived in small groups, scattered across Africa, holding onto fire and tools and each other. And when the winter finally ended, we spread across the entire planet. Every human alive today descends from those survivors. We are persistence predators on a cosmic scale, O'Brien added. We do not give up. We do not surrender. We adapt. We overcome. And we keep moving forward even when the universe itself seems determined to stop us. Kresh's crystalline fingers drummed on the table, creating a melodic, tinkling sound. I think I am beginning to understand why your first message to the galaxy was not "please help us," but rather "hello. We are here. What did we miss?" Tamal grinned. We figured if we survived Earth, we could handle anything the galaxy threw at us. Was that arrogant? Absolutely, Vrell said. But maybe justified. Maybe. Martinez stood, walking to the window that overlooked the city beyond. Millions of humans going about their lives, completely unaware that their species' survival was a statistical impossibility that had happened anyway. We know we are fragile, Commander. We know our planet is dangerous. We know we almost destroyed ourselves more than once. But we also know that fragility is not the same as weakness. Being vulnerable does not mean being helpless. She turned back to face the alien delegation. So yes, Earth kills 99% of its species every few million years. And yes, we are probably on that list eventually. But in the meantime, we are going to explore every star we can reach, make friends with every species who will talk to us, and leave our mark on the universe in a way that says we were here, we mattered, and we refused to go quietly. Vrell stood as well, raising her container in what she hoped was an appropriate gesture. To stubborn survival. Martinez raised her own glass. To stubborn survival. And to new friends who are kind enough not to mention how ridiculous our existence is. Oh, we will definitely be mentioning it, Ports muttered, but he was smiling. The tour of Earth's space program facility had been, in Vrell's increasingly exhausted opinion, exactly what she should have expected from a species that treated planetary extinction events like minor setbacks. The humans had built their rockets using controlled explosions, tested them by blowing up dozens of prototypes, and sent people into space anyway, because apparently the phrase, "this might kill you," was an insufficient deterrent. They stood now in a museum section, surrounded by artifacts from humanity's brief but intense spacefaring history. A primitive capsule that had carried 3 humans to their moon hung from the ceiling, looking like something a child might build from scrap metal and hope. That took people to the moon? Kresh asked, his tone hovering between respect and disbelief. That tiny metal box. 3 people, Tamal confirmed proudly. They traveled 384,000 kilometers in that thing, landed on the moon, walked around, collected rocks, and came back. With computers less powerful than the phone in my pocket. Ports was running calculations on his datapad, his three eyes blinking in rapid succession. The failure points on this design are astronomical. The radiation exposure alone should have been lethal. How did they survive? Carefully, O'Brien said with a straight face. And with exceptionally good engineers who worked 20-hour days fueled by coffee and the burning desire to prove it could be done. Martinez led them past displays showing progressively more advanced spacecraft. We lost people along the way. Astronauts who knew the risks and went anyway. Because exploration is in our nature. Because staying safe on the ground means never knowing what is out there among the stars. Vrell paused in front of a memorial wall, names etched in black stone. Hundreds of them. These are all people who died exploring space. Space, the oceans, the poles, mountains, caves, anywhere that was difficult to reach and potentially deadly, Martinez said quietly. We honor them because they went first. They took the risks so others could follow more safely. Every species probably has similar memorials. Not really, Vrell admitted. Most species develop space technology slowly, carefully, with extensive safety protocols developed over centuries. You went from first flight to moon landing in 66 years. That is insane by galactic standards. We had motivation, O'Brien said. Two of our nations were competing to see who could get there first. Nothing makes humans move faster than the possibility that someone else might beat them to something important. You raced to the moon because of competition? Kresh asked. Not scientific curiosity or resource acquisition. Oh, those too, Tamal said. But mostly we wanted to win. Humans are extraordinarily competitive. We turn everything into contests. Who can run fastest, jump highest, hold their breath longest, eat the most hot dogs in 10 minutes. Ports looked up from his datapad. Hot dogs? Are those prey animals? They are processed meat tubes we eat at sporting events. Martinez explained with the patience of someone who had clearly been through extensive first contact training. The point is, competition drives us to exceed our limitations. Sometimes that manifests as wars, which is unfortunate. But sometimes it manifests as landing on the moon just to prove we could. They moved into a viewing area overlooking the current launch facility. A massive rocket stood on the pad, being prepared for a mission to Mars. Humans in protective suits swarmed over it like organized insects, checking every system with methodical precision. We are sending a crew of 6 to establish a permanent research base, Martinez said. They will be gone for 2 years, living in artificial habitats on a planet with no breathable atmosphere, temperatures that swing from freezing to slightly less freezing, and dust storms that can last for months. And they volunteered for this? Vrell asked. We had 10,000 applicants, O'Brien said. We could have filled 100 missions. Humans line up for the chance to go somewhere dangerous and uncomfortable because it is new, because no one has done it before, because the challenge exists. Kresh made his crystalline clicking sound again. You really are insane. I mean that as a compliment. My species spends centuries debating whether to colonize a new asteroid. You just build a rocket and go. Time is our enemy, Tamal said seriously. We live maybe 80 to 100 years if we are lucky and avoid the thousands of things that can kill us. We do not have centuries to debate. We have to move fast, take chances, push boundaries, because individually we do not have much time at all. Vrell felt something shift in her understanding. The recklessness, the stubborn persistence, the refusal to accept limitations, it all came from the same source. Mortality. Humans knew they were temporary, that their individual lives were brief flickers against the vast cosmic darkness. So they burned brighter, pushed harder, refused to waste a single moment of their limited existence. We die easily, Martinez said, as if reading Vrell's thoughts. Disease, accidents, violence, old age, the list goes on. But before we die, we live. We explore, we create, we love, we fight, we build, we discover. We pack entire universes of experience into our short lives because we know that is all we get. Your species' philosophy is essentially you only live once, so do everything. Ports asked, more or less. Tamal agreed. We even have an acronym for it. YOLO. It started as a joke, but honestly, it sums up human culture pretty well. The rocket on the launch pad began venting excess fuel, white clouds billowing around its base. Technicians were clearing the area, heading to safe distances. Launch was approaching. Would you like to watch? Martinez offered. You are here at a perfect time. The Mars crew is launching in 20 minutes. They gathered in the observation deck, protected behind reinforced glass. Vrell found herself pressed against the window despite herself, watching as the countdown proceeded. Human voices filled the communication channels, calm and professional, running through endless checklists with practiced efficiency. 10 seconds, announced the launch controller. The rocket ignited with a roar that Vrell felt in her bones despite the soundproofing. Flames erupted from the base, brilliant and terrible, controlled fury pushing against gravity itself. The massive vehicle began to rise, slowly at first, then faster, accelerating into the blue sky on a pillar of fire and ambition. There they go, O'Brien said softly. 6 more humans heading into the dark because someone has to be first. Vrell watched until the rocket was just a bright point of light, then nothing at all. We will be filing our report with the Galactic Federation Council, recommending Earth for full membership status. Martinez turned to her, surprised. Already? Most species undergo years of evaluation. Most species did not survive their planet trying to kill them 5 times, Vrell said. Most species did not develop spaceflight in less than a century. Most species are not staffed entirely by individuals who look at danger and say, hold my beverage. Watch this. She paused. The galaxy needs humans. Your perspective, your resilience, your absolutely unhinged optimism in the face of cosmic horror. We need that. Plus, Kresh added, you are going to explore everything anyway whether we approve membership or not. Might as well make it official and try to keep up. Martinez laughed, that warm human sound that Vrell was beginning to appreciate. Welcome to Earth, Commander. The planet that refuses to die, home to the species too stubborn to stay dead. We are going to be great friends. Vrell looked out at the blue planet spinning below, beautiful and deadly, nurturing and murderous, home to the most improbable survivors in galactic history. Yes, she agreed. I think we are. And somewhere overhead, 6 humans raced toward Mars on a controlled explosion, chasing horizons that had never been crossed, because that was what humans did. They went anyway. They always went anyway, the stubborn bastards. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story, Rocket.